Paul, I've got your machine here ready to go here. Sorry it took a while. I've got a bunch of projects that I'm working on, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on what you got going on here. It uses the ordinary peeler slicer here. You're probably familiar with these. This one's using the Johnny Apple peeler, but you can use whichever one you want. It's just important the distance between here and here. So I'd have to design a different motor distance. This one is all set up, and let's show you what it does with the apples. You just stick the apple in there, and with a simple push button. This one is set up both to peel and to core. So core stops automatically. It has an automatic sensor attached to the table, and there's a sensor attached to the bottom of the Applebot so that it stops automatically. If it doesn't stop automatically, sometimes it gets a lot of the apple juice. If you're working like in our kitchen, we're doing not 5 or 10 apples, we're doing 100 pounds, 150 pounds of apples. You get a lot of apple stuff. So if it gets a lot of apple stuff and the magnets get a little funky, there's a stop button here, which is next to the start button, which will allow you to stop it at any time. Or if you have an apple that breaks up, an old apple, and you just need to stop it at any time, well, that button will stop it for you. Okay, thing there back. If you don't want to have it to peel, to set back the peeler. But these are things that you know about with the Johnny Apple peeler. Let me tell you about the Applebot itself. The Applebot itself, if you need to clean it, don't be afraid. You could dunk the Applebot table in water and clean it all up. You can't dunk the machine in water because there's motors and electronics inside of it. However, it is all sealed. All of this is plexiglass, thick plexiglass, and it won't allow any moisture in. It just won't handle being actually submerged in water. So feel free to clean it with spray and put it in spray and clean it up as you want. Being careful with the switches and stuff like that, because Apple stuff is going to get all over the place, and you're going to need to do that. If you need to do that, you need to take it apart. If you want to take it apart, to put it away and put it together as you use it, or if you keep it together as one piece. I tend to keep them together as one piece so I don't have to dickle with them. Any event, if you do, it's very simple. You remove the rod. If you need to have some help removing the rod, and just grab yourself a plier and spin it around a little bit. Shouldn't be too big a problem. It's just threaded on to the thing here. Okay. So once you've got this rod loosened up and removed, like that, then your Applebot is free to be taken apart. The power supply back here, as you can see, has an LED indicator. The indicator tells you that the power is there. It doesn't tell you if it's on or off, just that there is power there. In the event that there's an issue with the actual power supply, you'll know that your Applebot is receiving power or not. Like I said, the Applebot, it's not all sealed at the bottom because it's got sensors and things here, and little wheels. So you're willing to clean it all up on the sides there without getting into the bottom. Same with the machine itself. The machine itself is attached with its general screw here. It's removed like that. These are the ones that you use. You put them on the table and you screw them up on the table, and then you sit there and you crank away until your arm breaks away. So if you need to clean this, you take this and you clean it all up. Take this, clean it all up, do whatever you have to do. And then when you want to put it back together again, then you put the machine back inside of its opening. That's what this opening here is for, to attach the machine. Attach the machine, try to aim it. It wants to be straight through the middle of the box there so that the Applebot travels freely up and down. So you want to aim it pretty much in the box there. Give it a bit of a tightening back here. And you tighten your screw like you would tighten it on a regular table. Give it a general tight here until you got yourself comfortable with the Applebot. The Applebot should screw right in. They're designed for each particular machine. Like I said, this one's designed for this machine, so it will thread right on there. You just thread that right on there. and that's it. Once you thread it on, look at your box, make sure they're centered. If not, just give your machine there a little bit of twist or whatever you got to do to get the wheels centered into the table. Once you're comfortable with it centered into the table, grab a plier or something or whatever you got and give this a little extra twist. Don't just do it by hand because there's just not enough to break it, but just enough to hold it in there a little extra. Once you got it all back together again, get your apple going. Set your apple up. Hopefully the apple won't break apart if it's too old. There we go again. Like that. But it processes the apple, cuts it through, gets your core, gets you ready to go again. When you got to go again, just gently grab the box itself and pull it back gently. Again, if there's a lot of apple liquid, you've done like, a whole bunch of these apples and there's apple stuff all around, it might get a little crusty in here, so get yourself a rag, clean it up, get the apple stuff off so that you get that free flow going. If it doesn't flow freely, just clean it up a little bit, but don't worry, the motor is very strong, which is the next point. The motor uses a 12 volt. This one is supposed to give us 6 amps. 6 amps in these power supplies is a lot of amps. They're usually quite a bit smaller. But you need a lot of power to drive the apple through the machinery. Whether you're just cutting it or peeling it and coring it, whatever you're doing, it needs a bit of power so it doesn't get stuck in here. If you don't have the right amperage on the power supply, the motor is going to stall. Trust me, I know. So if you have to replace the power supply, hopefully you wouldn't have to do that for a while. Then remember that you need a high amperage power supply at 12 volts. Let's see, what else can I tell you there, Mr. Paul? Thanks for ordering the machine. Send me an address where I could mail it to, and I'll mail it to you. Use it, peel a whole bunch of apples, and we'll keep in touch.